What up? What up? Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and more. Let's just jam a second. Alright. Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories, UFO legend and lore. I'm happy to have you back. Hopefully you're enjoying our stroll through the KMFDM Angst album. All rights reserved to those guys. They're awesome. They've recorded some albums with a friend of mine, and they're just cool dudes. So, anywho, what's the word bird? One more podcast for the day. I think you're going to enjoy it. It's about the Maryland GOATMAN, who stands approximately 7 to 8 feet tall and weighs about 350 pounds. Talking about a linebacker basketball player combination of, and imagine this goat devil being just going around fucking shit up in Maryland, right? Now, Maryland is one of the very first colonies of America, and all that goes along with that, including the killings of Native Americans and a whole bunch of bad negative energy. Right. And upon that, we also have the British-American Wars and Revolutionary War. So we got all kinds of negative energy going on the East Coast. So, of course, you're going to have a Maryland goat man, right? Of course you are. And a lot of people might call it something else, but this thing, dude, looks scary as shit. It looks like a devil man, the image that they got. And I don't know if it's AI or whatever, but it's pretty badass. And this thing has been captured on television. So what is it? The Maryland GOATMAN is described as a hybrid creature, part man, part goat. According to those who claim to have seen it, the legs and feet resemble that of a goat. Yes, sometimes this guy might go into a gambling establishment, a saloon of some sort, put his feet up, and you might see that he is a goat man. Never gamble with a goat man. They always win, and they're always cheating. So, the height is generally described as 7 to 8 feet tall, weighing 350 pounds, and the upper body is of a man with a horned head, and the body partially covered by fur. Below are a few of the documented sightings, and then we'll get into some deeper cuts and writings that go all the way back to a Jesuit priest in 1666. And the areas in which this goat man occupies had been riddled with tuberculosis, all kinds of negative diseases. Did this goat man just happen to bring these diseases with him because he is from a different world, or is he a different entity altogether? Let's take a look. So one of the very first writings, reports of recent time, was in June 1963. A young couple was walking on Zug Road when they observed a peculiar creature staring at them from the edge of the woods. The woman described it as a tall, ragged animal with human-like features. Great. We have another event that happened in the same city, Huntington, Maryland. Nearly 8 years later, a farmer on Fletchertown Road reported seeing a large, man-like creature eating the remains of a pig. While the farmer tried to approach him, the creature ran off. Same description: goat head, hairy body, and goat-like feet. And he was even seen in September 1976 all the way up to 1985, 1990. Where he stopped by a birthday party in Magruder Park. The boy ran into the woods after a ball. Moments later, he screamed. When the adults arrived, they found him visibly shaken, and the boy told his mother that there was a dark thing with red eyes who stood in the corner of his room at night. Oh boy, you see one, you seen them all. You see, if you see these guys, sometimes they follow you and they haunt you in your house. Not cool, goat man, okay? And these stories continue to go on. There was a camera crew in July of 2007 where they were on location for a local golf tournament in Glenarden, Maryland, when they noticed a strange animal moving in the trees nearby. The cameraman managed to capture a few seconds of video before the animal disappeared, and you can see in the picture something running away. A little bit blurry, but it is dark and black. If you want to look at it, feel free. I'll show you a little quick picture. If you can see it, there's a dark image of something running away. Could be Bigfoot, could be Goatman. I wasn't there, so I can't tell you, but that's what they say. It's often associated with several locations throughout Prince George's County in Maryland, including Glendale Hospital, which is a former site of the State Tuberculosis Sanatorium. Now, the sanatoriums where everybody was sent to die and sent down body chutes to keep them away from the other patients so that they could try to keep things as clean and as sanitized as possible. They say that this being managed to damage property and resulted in the deaths of several family pets. There is an interesting story when we go back in time. The Piscataway Native American people believed a magical creature in the same area in Maryland could shapeshift into various animal forms. Isn't this interesting? Like we said, a shapeshifter like at the ranch, Skinwalker Ranch. This was noted and written in 1666 by a Jesuit priest, in which the illustration of a Bigfoot-like creature standing on two legs appeared in the document. The sightings began in 1957, recent sightings, when a young couple was parked alone on a lonely country road on Zug Road and heard something banging on the hood of their car. Well, that's terrifying because they're probably just trying to make out. All of a sudden, you got this goat motherfucker trying to mess with your game. And he's banging on the hood of the car. Looking up, they were startled to see a goat-like humanoid staring at them, waving what looked like an axe. Holy shit. I would assume it'd be a scythe, but it's not the Grim Reaper. The creature instantly turned and dashed into the surrounding woods. Yeah, very good. In the summer of 1962, the Goatman was accused of killing 14 people, including 12 children who had accompanying adults and who had been hiking too close to its apparent lair. The survivors, who not surprisingly remained anonymous, claimed that the Goatman violently hacked its victims with an axe while uttering horrid screams. Could you imagine that? Damn, this has got to hack everything up. What for? People weren't doing nothing. Maybe he's just going to eat them. I have no idea. We hear about these, reptilian and satanic, events where they just hack up bodies and they feed off the screams of the innocent, the blood of the innocent. According to the account, the local authorities arrived on the scene, and all that was left in the carnage was half-eaten limbs and a bloody trail leading to an ominous-looking cave. We've heard about the Kandahar giant before, which was in Afghanistan, where they believed he was eating people, and he was like 14 feet tall, and they killed him. They sent in special forces to kill that guy. And there was a story not that long ago, I think I did on a podcast, where they hired a guy that was going to be special forces, and they were sending him into West Virginia to capture some giant as well. So this stuff is real, man. This stuff has been going down for quite a while. All that was left was the bloody trail leading into the cave. By the way, Prince George's County and Maryland State Police have no written record of these incidents. They're not going to... If they record these incidents, that means they happen. That means the government's coming in. That means problems for their parish, or for their county, I'm sorry. And maybe less revenue for their people as well. Less revenue for local area government. Less revenue for people. You got Bigfoot running around. You got Goatman running around. These people are upper class, man. You talk about Maryland. You talk about Massachusetts. You talk about New Jersey. You talk about New York. You talk about all these East Coast areas, Delaware. These places got money, old money, blue money, old money, man. Like, you talking generations back money. Okay? You come in, you take a bunch of people's land, and you get it for free. Well, guess what? You got money now because you got land. You can sell it. I am not from those families. Okay. In 1970, a woman heard her pet dog barking wildly outside, peering through the window. She saw a shadowy figure of the creature moving about where the dog was tied up. Being too afraid to go outside in the dark, she decided to remain in the house, and the next morning she discovered the dog had been decapitated. Man, if my dog was decapitated, I'd be going out there hunting this damn thing down. I'd be bringing a shotgun and some crossbows and some crucifixes and everything else. Just trying, when I bring a whole group of people with me, too. In November 10th, 1971, the edition of Prince George's County News had a headline on the front page that declared, "Residents fear Goatman lives. Dog found decapitated in Old Bowie with a photo of the remains of the mutilated pet." Boy, that's kind of in poor taste, but they did it anyway. The canine belonged to April Edwards and had disappeared after she and friends reported hearing strange noises in their yard on the night of November 3rd, 1971. When they went to investigate, they saw a large creature moving in the dark. The article also stated that reports of an animal-like creature that walks on its hind legs had been seen by other residents in the area. See if a dog had been decapitated or a dog had been eaten. Sometimes you think that it's the result of a coyote. Coyotes come and they eat small animals. But if there were reports of a goat man, that's a completely different story, isn't it? The Prince George's County News coverage of the goat man ended with one last front page story on November 24th, 1971. It focused on Miss Evelyn Johnson, who lived on Fletchertown Road, and mentioned the trouble and harassment she and other neighbors had received from the Goatman hunters. Harassment by hunters, eh? Okay, this included an incident where the road was blocked off by two cars and one truckload of people who claimed they had the creature trapped. Mrs. Johnson had to call the police to drive home. So maybe either A, it was like military, or it was paramilitary, or just a group of good old boys trying to capture this thing. So that's an interesting one. That one should be investigated because maybe we can find out more info. Maybe there's some sort of unclassified document that maybe we can find in the Library of Congress or some other Freedom of Information Act source. What are the actual origins of the Maryland Goatman? Some reports involve escaped mental patients and others satanic rituals. But the most popular legend is that the Goatman is the unfortunate result of an experiment involving one Dr. Stephen Fletcher that went horribly wrong at his U.S. Department of Agriculture laboratory in Beltsville. The doctor actually confessed to creating the Goatman by crossing the DNA of a goat and his assistant William Lotsford. But the experiment went terribly awry, and the result was a genetic nightmare. It's obviously a manufactured tale, it says in this article, but many people claim that this scenario is valid. Well, is it really a manufactured claim? We know in Area 51, S2, and all those Papoose Lake bases that they are working, it's Dulce base especially, that they do have in, Nightmare Hall. I think it's the 6th level down. That's where they're doing genetic experiments. That's where they're making goat men. That's where they're making cow men. That's where they're making people that have bird wings. That's where they're doing all these creations of DNA hybridization. The question I have is, do they have souls? What happens to their entity? Are they real? Do they feel pain? Of course they feel pain. They're real. But do they have souls? Do they experience all this pain and then bring it with them to the next life? There's lots of questions when it goes to hybridization and entities. Many of these Goatman sightings and reports closely correlate to Bigfoot sightings that have been reported in the same area of Maryland for generations, including the numerous property attacks by the Sykesville Monster in the early 1970s, which may or may not be the same scenario. Bigfoot-related sightings continue throughout Maryland and the surrounding states. In this writer's opinion, the Goatman is simply an urban legend, although Bigfoot and other cryptid hominids with that were wielding an axe would be a life-altering event. I think this thing is real. I've seen so many stories dating all the way, or located all the way down in Louisiana, dating back to the 1600s and beyond. These people have survived there. They've lived there. The French were there before we were. The Native Americans, the Mesoamericans, the Native Mexicans were all down in these areas down south, and then in Western Virginia as well. They have their own stories of these things. It's not the white man that came and made these stories up. These entities existed and were documented and were told through generations and seen by generations, dating all the way back to a Jesuit priest back in 1666. So if you're going to come and say, oh, hey, lockdown, man, they just made this shit up in the 1950s for good old-fashioned stories and movies to scare little kids, well, guess what? We got documentation dating back to the 17th century and before. So, bada bing, bada boom, okay? That's what I got. For those guys that don't believe, there's plenty of evidence out there. These things have been around quite a long time and continue to be there today. So, go ahead and do your own research. Feel free. There's lots of stuff out there, lots of good info. I think you'll enjoy it. I like it, and I'm going to continue to read up on it and go from there. So I hope you guys have an excellent night. Take care of yourselves. Feel free to, surround yourself with the white light. Take care of your spiritual entity. Take care of your physical entity. Continue to work out. Stay strong. Get your exercise on. Take care of your emotional health. Talk to a therapist. Talk to friends. Talk to family. Write in a journal. Set goals for yourself. Try to hit those goals. Your brain loves it when you hit goals. And as always, continue to question the universe around you. Until next time, guys, watch out for the GOATMAN. And Lockdown Universe is out, my friends. Peace in the Middle East. Please like, follow, share, and subscribe. All right? Share to everyone you know. Share to whoever you know. Share to your grandma, your grandpa, your aunt, your great aunt, your whoever you think might like it. And if they don't like it, they can share it to somebody else. Thanks so much for your support. Lockdown Universe out. Peace.